hear the... It's all good?
Yes.
Okay. Today is September 26, 2015. My name is Moisés Acuña-Gurrola. And I'm here with Mr. Santiago Diaz, retired World War II veteran. Retired World War II veteran. So let me ask you, where did your family live before coming to the United States?
Before they come here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they lived at this hacienda, which was a village where all the people worked for one administrator. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's where they were born and lived there.
Your parents? Both of them?
Right.
Okay.
And I was born there too, in the same.
Okay.
Same thing.
So when did the family come over to the U.S.? When did the family come? When did the family come to the United States?
In 1916.
1916. What brought the family over? What?
Why did they come?
Yeah.
Why did they come over?
Well, they want to get away from at that time the Mexican Revolution was going on, so they want to just get away from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm sorry. What are your parents' names? Your parents' names?
My dad's name was Abraham, and my mother Telesfora.
Okay. What city did you come to from Mexico?
Fort Worth.
You came straight to Fort Worth. What neighborhood?
We lived out off of 19th Street downtown.
Is that the south side or is that the north side?
No, that's in downtown.
Oh, in downtown. Okay.
Yeah.
What did your parents do for a living while working there? Well, what jobs did they have?
Well, my dad found a job working for the Roundhouse TMP Railroad. Well, what's next? After that, the Mexican government offered free transportation to Mexico to all the people that wanted to go back. So my dad decided to go back to Mexico in 1920. And came back 2 years later, 1922.
Sorry. In 1922, okay.
And came back 1922. Let's see, after 1922,
What was your father doing in Mexico for those 2 years? What was he doing in Mexico for those 2 years? Because he left in 1920, right? And then he went to Mexico in 1920, and then came back in 22?
Let's see, I don't...
Okay. But your father, though, he was in Mexico for 2 years?
Yeah.
And what was he working out there? Did he work?
When he came back?
Over in Mexico.
In Mexico?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he found a job retailing, buying some Mexican products and retailing them.
Okay.
Then came back to the United States, and in 1920, let's see, 1924, and I've been here ever since.
Okay.
Then I went to school,
Okay.
1924.
What school did you go to? Oh, before we get to that, was your father part of any unions when he worked on the railroad?
Well, yeah, he worked for a railroad then, yeah.
But was he in a union, in a labor union?
It's a section gangs, and let's see, that was 1924. I went to school. at A.J. Chambers School, and which is now is Terrell, but then it ran into Lancaster, which was not Lancaster then. It was East Front Street. Mm-hmm. Then about 1930, it changed the name from East Front to Lancaster. In 1930.
What year did you graduate high school?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, I said I went to A.J. Chambers there, and from there went on to Jennings Avenue Junior. Let's see, what year are we now? 1930?
I think so. So when you went to A.J. Chambers, that was the elementary school, right?
Yes.
Okay, A.J. Chambers was the elementary. Was there other Mexican American kids that were there? Or was it all Mexican Americans?
No?
Había más mexicanos.
En la escuela que fuiste aquí a A.J. Chambers, ¿había otros mexicanos contigo que ahí fueron también?
Well, I don't understand that. Don't remember it.
Can I tell? Okay. ¿Había más mexicanos en la escuela?
Oh, no. At the junior high school, we were only 3 of us there. I dropped out because things were getting bad to help find a job to help my family. And I don't know what the other 2, whether they dropped out or not. Yeah.
So when you say when things were getting bad, this is during the Depression, right?
Because things were beginning to get bad.
So
yeah,
what kind of job?
Beginning of this big Great Depression.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What kind of work did you find?
Well, part of the time, my dad decided to take the family and go pick cotton for very low wages. Came back from that, and I found a job at a coffee roasters company on Lancaster. I worked there until the beginning of the war in Europe.
Okay.
Then we had to sign up for the draft. And after the draft, I was later called on to for the physical exam in Dallas. I passed my physical, and I had a choice whether to go ahead and sign up for the service or reject. I could reject if I didn't want to because I wasn't a citizen. Mm-hmm. But I decided to go ahead because I grew up here. Mm-hmm. So I went on. And by that time, when I decided to go to the service, my eldest son was 6 months old, and from there on, when I went out to the basic training for the Army, and I trained for being a medic, and was sent to base hospital to study some of the first aid things. After basic, I was assigned to medic unit to go to, and we were sent to Illinois for stationary bound for Europe. That was in Illinois. And then they changed my group to go to the tropics, and was sent to Louisiana for tropical training.
So, when you joined the military, were you also there the only Mexican, or were there other Mexicanos there as well? Were there other Mexicanos in the military with you?
Oh, well, in my group we were 11 men and 2 officers, and I was the only one from Texas. All the rest of them from different states, the only Mexican in my group.
Okay. Before we move on there, I wanted to ask, so you said you worked picking cotton. Where did you stay in the area here, or did you travel all through the United States or Texas?
After the war?
No, before. When you were working with your dad to pick cotton, did you travel?
No, I just went to raise a cotton crop back to Fort Worth.
Okay, and it was all around here then, right?
All around here, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you go, now let's move up a little bit. Okay. Well, we can, okay. Yeah, so now you're in Louisiana, you're in the military, and you're doing training for the tropics.
Right, yeah. We were sent on a camp across from New Orleans, across the Mississippi River, and we had bivouac there, and we went through gas training through a building with tear gas, teaching us how to use gas masks.
So where did you go from there?
We left from there after I don't know how many, 3 weeks. That's when we went back to Illinois.
Okay.
From Illinois back to no, after the training there, we got a pass to go to Louisiana, and to New Orleans, and it was 5 of us from the same detachment, and we got picked up by the MPs because we stayed over curfew. Was going to send us to the guardhouse. Instead, we told them we were shipping out the next day, so they took us back to the camp instead. And we did ship out of there, came across Texas back to Los Angeles. From Los Angeles down to San Francisco. From there, we got on a ship, went past the Alcatraz, under the Golden Gate Bridge, and then I became seasick for about 4 days. After that, I was all right.
You had your sea legs after that?
Well, zigzag across the ocean. Mm-hmm. And 20 months later, we landed at New Caledonia, not too far from Australia. At New Caledonia, they unloaded several thousand troops from that ship, and that kept us there, and went on to Guadalcanal. We got to Guadalcanal, I don't know what time of day, but they waited for us to come off the ship until dark to keep the enemy from spotting the sun coming down the ship. We were about a mile offshore, came down the side of the ship to landing craft and ferried on to the shore. It was raining too at night. They took us on trucks down the island, and it was dark. We woke up in the water, raining. Let's see, what's next, I forgot.
Well, let me ask you some other questions, and then if you remember, we can get back to that.
He became a citizen over there.
Okay, so you got your citizenship while you were over there.
Huh?
You got your citizenship when you were overseas?
No, I was never. Every 6 months they asked me if I was going to become a citizen, and I kept putting it off. But in 1945, things were getting bad, and so I decided to go ahead and apply for citizenship because I didn't know what was going to happen. And I was sworn in. I don't remember. It was 1945 with about 50 other guys from different nationalities. And it stated on my citizenship certificate where I was sworn in, at the British Solomon Island of Guadalcanal. It was a British island then.
So you come back to the United States in 1946, or 45, I'm sorry.
No, 46.
46, okay. And did you come back to Fort Worth?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you do in Fort Worth from then on?
Well, I went back to my old job, and soon after I changed jobs and began working for the railroad.
Okay. What neighborhood did you stay in when you got back to Fort Worth?
I stayed at my father-in-law's home on Terry Street.
Okay. And what part of
Well,
Fort
that's not far from downtown, near 19th Street and 17th Street.
Okay. Sorry, I just don't know Fort Worth very much. So, but it's in like north,
Ferry
or
is where the turnpike is now, somewhere in there.
oh, okay,
It's not Ferry.
okay, okay. So when you got back, did you join the American GI Forum? Was there a chapter of the GI Forum in Fort Worth?
No.
No.
The what?
The American GI Forum?
Yeah, I did join it, but I didn't stay with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you meet Hector P. Garcia? Did you meet Hector P. Garcia?
No.
The founder? No. Okay. So you started working for the railroad when you got back.
Yeah.
Did you join a union then?
No.
No. Were there any unions? No. Okay. What did the workforce look like? Was it Mexicanos, black people, and white people, or was it just Mexicanos, or what did it look like? How many?
On the railroad?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there was other people working there, but we were just doing common labor until they found out I could do something else, and they made me a supply man for bought material for people working.
Okay. And so I see you. So you had your second son in 1949. Your second son in 1949.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, 1949. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm sorry. When did you get married?
Did I get married?
Mm-hmm.
February 18th, 1942.
Okay. 1942. Okay. So you hadn't gone to the military yet, right? Or you hadn't shipped out yet?
No.
No. Okay. Let's see. There's a number of different ways we can go with this. So, how about you described to me what the neighborhood looked like? So before, I guess, when you first got here, when you were a child, what did the neighborhood look like before you went to the war?
Before I retired?
Before the war, what did the neighborhood look like?
¿Cómo estaba la neighborhood antes que fuiste a la guerra? How was the neighborhood?
Well, let's see.
Was there running water?
Hmm?
Did the homes have running water?
I don't know.
Or electricity?
Well, we had electricity. We had water. We didn't have phone.
Okay. What about the streets? Were they dirt roads or were they paved?
No, the street. Well, no, they weren't paved.
It was just dirt?
Yes, dirt.
Okay. And what about sewage? Were there sewers? Were there sewers?
Yeah.
Okay. About how big was the neighborhood, do you think?
Oh, we were just a small community. It wasn't just here and other places, just a small community.
Okay. Okay. Did you speak Spanish in the community or just at home?
Well, my parents never learned English,
Okay.
so at home we spoke Spanish.
And what about with your friends?
Hmm?
What about with your friends? Did you speak Spanish with your friends or was it just English?
Yeah, everybody spoke Spanish.
Okay. Were there any stores, any restaurants in the area?
Well, there were a few neighborhood stores.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they were called? Do you remember what they were called, the stores?
No.
What about the owners? Were the owners Mexicanos too?
No. They were white.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What was I going to ask about that? Okay, it'll come back to me. So you go to the military and then you come back. How did the neighborhood change after you got back?
Well, let me see. When I came back, well, they were beginning to have more jobs than there were before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The war was open. It was they were hiring people for different jobs.
And what about the neighborhood? Did they finally pave the roads?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Finally, they came around paving the streets.
Okay. What about churches in the area? How many churches were there?
Well, we had one that wasn't too far away from there, about 3 blocks. Another one about 5 blocks. What is it? Holy Name. We had.
It's now Mother of Mercy. It's called Holy Name, but it was Mother of Mercy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Was it all Catholic churches?
Yeah.
It was all Catholic, all the churches?
Yeah, Catholic.
Okay. Were they? Did they speak in Spanish in the services there?
No, they spoke English.
Okay.
Mm.
So I want to ask you
I
about.
had some Spanish masters.
Okay.
Mm.
I want to ask you about your time in school. When you spoke, did you ever speak Spanish in school?
No, it was English. It was English.
Would you get punished if you spoke in Spanish?
No,
No.
no.
So
See, the second time when I came back to the United States, I couldn't speak English at all because my parents all spoke Spanish. I went to school, but it wasn't long before I could pick up everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. When you're little, you pick it up fast.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so do you know who Gilbert Garcia is in Fort Worth?
That time,
Mm-hmm.
I know.
Like after the war, you didn't know Gilbert Garcia?
No, no.
What about Sam Garcia?
Well, I don't know, many years later before I knew Frank Garcia.
No, que si conocías esos hombres, Sam Garcia, son otros hombres de ese tiempo. No, ¿verdad?
No.
He didn't really.
Okay. So did you often go back to Mexico?
No. Well, me and my wife went to Mexico after I started working for real. We went to Mexico about 24 years in a row to visit some of the relatives there. And we stayed 2 and 3 weeks at a time. Mm-hmm. And my relatives there, they took us everywhere in Mexico in different cities. And we saw a lot of Mexico.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did Mexico change a lot every time you would go back? Did it feel different every time you
Not
went?
then.
No.
No. Well, they progressed. They built more roads, and we traveled on there. They had first, second class buses, and first class all went to first class, and they were better than ours. Then I think they still are, the buses. And on a first class bus, we got on the bus. They gave us a snack bag, a seat, air conditioning, TV.
And so you worked for the railroad company, right? And
I
they would
worked
give you
for
they would give you the time off to go
Well,
to Mexico?
then I got a 3 weeks vacation.
Every year? Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay. What about other benefits? Did you get benefits while working with them?
No, just a vacation.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Were there ever any efforts to start a union?
No, I never did start a union.
And nobody ever talked about it, or?
Well, there were union men, but we didn't talk about it.
Okay, okay. So how long did you work for the railroad company?
23 years.
Okay. And so you would have retired in?
1982.
82, okay. What about from 1982 onward? What was going on? What did you do?
Well, after that was just a lot of building going on. Yeah. Help in Germany and Japan.
No, I mean from 1982 onward? After you retired?
Oh, after I retired in 1982.
Mm-hmm.
I worked part-time for a company for 24 years.
Okay. What company was it?
Let's see, what was it? The name of the company. It was ¿cómo se llama that company?
United or Merchants? Was it United Wholesale?
United what?
United Wholesale.
Okay, United we made. Well, I was running
It was United.
Rivet made, huh?
Oh, no, you worked for United Wholesale, the drug company.
Never United what?
Wholesale. United Wholesale Drug Company. You worked several different jobs.
Okay. So, did you join any veterans organizations?
You
Huh?
joined, what is, there's American Legion, the veteran organizations, VFW.
Oh yeah, I belong to the VFW and the American Legion.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how long have you been?
Well, with the VFW since 1946. I got a lifetime membership.
Did you ever hear about groups like LULAC or BASO?
No, not really.
No. Okay. And you said you joined the GI Forum for a little while?
Oh, yeah, well, at the beginning,
At the beginning?
I dropped out.
Okay. About how active, how long were you in it for?
Oh, I had probably a couple of months or so.
Oh, okay. And what kind of work did you see get done, or what were you doing those few months with the GI Forum?
Oh, nothing. Just nothing. Just attending a meeting.
Okay. And what were the meetings about?
Well, they talk about how to find the jobs and things like that.
Okay. Is there anything in particular you would like for me to ask him so he can expand on?
He missed the part here about when they went cotton picking, but that's going back.
Oh, that's fine.
Okay.
Yep.
See where their fathers said that they took and picked cotton.
Okay.
And then over here where he went to Minnesota to
Okay.
pick that.
So yeah, tell me about the time you went to Minnesota to work on the fields.
Mm-hmm.
When you went to Minnesota.
Yeah, in 1930, we went to, well, they were taking people to help raise sugar beet crops. And my dad and I took the family with us. We went there and were assigned to a farm in Minnesota. In late in spring, they began planting for the sugar beets. When the sugar beet crop began to grow, we went out and we had to hold the space the plants 12 inches apart and leave only one, because if you leave two, they wouldn't grow. They grew big, and between the harvest of the sugar beets, we had to wait till the crop was ready to be harvested. We finished picking the sugar beets and went back to Fort Worth. Lived there ever since.
Okay. Did all your brothers and sisters go with you to Minnesota?
let's see, they let us buy groceries and pay for it whenever we got paid from the crop. Yeah.
And what about your brothers and sisters? Your brothers and sisters, did they go too?
Well, it was only, we were only, let's see how many of us were there. One of my brothers was born in 1929, so let's see, we were, I don't know, about 5 of us, I guess.
Okay. And so everyone went, and everybody helped out on the field?
Yeah. Yeah.
What about when you picked cotton?
Cotton?
Yeah, what about with that too? Was that all your brothers and sisters out there too?
Oh, I don't know, that was 19, about 2 or 3 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your brothers and sisters went out there too,
Yeah.
to the fields? But how long each day would you work? How long was a work day out on the fields?
On the field?
Yeah.
Just long enough to pick the crop, about 2 or 3 months. Okay.
What about per day? How many hours a day?
Oh, we got up at sun up to sundown.
Did you have lunch? Did they give you time to eat lunch?
We had to make our own lunch.
Yeah. So from sunup, so that maybe like 12 hours a day, maybe?
Well, long hours because they want to make a little money.
And so where did you all sleep? Did you go back home?
Then no, they gave us a little shed to sleep on.
About how big was it?
Not very big.
How many people stayed in there?
Well, just our family.
Okay.
Yeah. Slept on the floor.
Was there a space, cooking space, a bathroom?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there was running water there too?
Yeah, there's water.
Mm-hmm. And what about, so compare that to when you were in Minnesota. Was there a place for you to stay there also?
In Minnesota, yeah, we stay there, and I got a pass to go to Peoria. Went to Peoria, and there was soldiers everywhere, and I got to stay with an elderly couple there. And they gave me a bed and a breakfast, and they were real friendly. Mm-hmm. Then I went back to the camp, get ready to go overseas.
Okay. So I have maybe just a couple of, we have about 4 minutes left.
Did he say why they came over? Because
The revolution?
because they were dying.
Oh.
Two before him had died of malnutrition.
Okay, tell me about that. Tell me about when you came over to the United States more. So you said it was during the Revolution, correct? During the Mexican Revolution? Your parents brought you to the United States?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit more about that. What exactly made them want to leave? How did the war affect your family when you were there?
¿Por qué te trajeron de México?
Well, as I mentioned, that they came from Mexico because of the Mexican Revolution.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
How was your family affected by it?
Well, during the Revolution, they had different parties come into that neighborhood, and they gave all the grain to the horses and left the people without something to eat. So they had to depend on what's out in the country, vegetables that you could eat. And that was the reason.
Your community in Mexico, was it how about how many people lived in the area and how many people left?
Oh, well, quite a few. Quite a few. I don't know how many, but they all work here for this one administrator. Yeah.
And so what was the trip like? Did you come by train, by car? How did, was it with other families that you came to the United States, or how did that work?
Well, some of them did. Most of them stayed, but just a few of them that had enough to come over here.
And how did you make the trip over? Was it how did your family come over? Like, was it on a train, or was it in a car, or with other?
One aunt from the United States came over and brought them with her.
Okay. So it was just your family. It wasn't a whole.
Yeah.
Okay. And you mentioned something about siblings there.
Yes, they because they didn't have enough to eat, they brought him over. Two siblings before him had died of malnutrition.
Okay.
And that's the reason they brought him, to see if he would survive.
I see. So were you the only sibling, or was it just your parents and you when you came over?
Yeah.
Okay. And you had two other siblings, correct? You had two other siblings?
No, not the first time. Just me.
No, before you, que se murieron. Before you, they died.
Oh, yeah. They died. Probably malnutrition. We don't know. Yeah. And I was the first one to survive because they got out of there.
Yeah. So were there other families from Chiapas, right? Were there other families in Fort Worth from Chiapas also?
No.
What other parts of? Sorry.
Just us.
Okay.
Chinampas.
Oh, okay. Oh, I was reading too fast. Okay. Chinampas. Okay. And what other parts of Mexico were the other people in Fort Worth from?
Other people?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We crossed at Laredo, Texas.
Mm-hmm. And in Fort Worth, were there other people from Mexico who had just gotten there?
Not from, most of them were from Mexico. Most of the people living here at that time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And do you know what parts of Mexico they were from?
Huh?
Do you know what parts of Mexico they were from?
No, not really from all parts of Mexico.
Okay. Well, so that's the timer. I really wish we can just go. Usually, we go in detail, like from the day one all the way. But because of 45 minutes, I wish we had more time to talk.
And like they told me for the veterans, the more you talk to them, the more it pops into his mind. That's what happened over there.
Yeah. Is there anything you want to mention before we finish recording?
Mm-hmm.
Otra cosa que quieras decir de tu vida.
Well, not really. I think I've enjoyed living here. Yeah, I appreciate all the good things that I have gone through.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, right now my health is still holding out. Mm-hmm. I eat the right food, fruits, vegetables, milk, eggs, a little bit of beer.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Mr. Diaz. It was an honor to speak to you. I guess we can cut it.